We left me heading down the spiral stairs to quiz Venus about the message on the back of my pass. In the semi-gloom, these were your French special death trap variety, steep and narrow, with shiny tiled treads specially designed to make unwanted British sound engineers slip and break their necks. In fact, and this is really saying something in the dangerous stair stakes, they were almost as treacherous as the Venus flytraps at the crematorium in Salisbury where my grandmother was cremated. As we fell down those particular steps at the end of the funeral, my grandfather made the now famous observation that they'd been deliberately made as dangerous as possible to get new customers, which was fairly ironic as he did himself return a few years later as a customer, although not because of falling down those stairs. Anyway, I arrived safely in the hall and spotted Venus outside, leaning up against the patio doors. She had gone out through the kitchen, so I did the same, picking up a glass of water on the way. "Hi, I thought you'd gone to bed." Not a classic pick-up line, I admit. Having come down to pump her for inflammation, I'd not the slightest idea of what to say. "No, I'm not tired, and it's a fantastic view, isn't it? It's so wonderfully still." Although it was already well past midnight, the view was, well, fantastic. High on a hill, looking down over a patchwork of tiled roofs and olive trees. In the distance, we could see the sea and the old fishing port, all very picturesque. Now, if I remember, I'll upload a photo. "And have you seen the stars? There's so many of them. The longer you look, the more you see," she said. I stared upwards and grew quite giddy. Venus was sitting on the concrete step with a blanket over her legs. "Do you mind if I join you?" I asked. "No, be my guest, but your arse will go numb fairly quickly. This step's freezing. Here, you can share this." Which is how I came to find myself sitting outside under the stars, sharing a blanket with the beautiful Lady Crappenley. I don't normally bother describing people. After all, isn't it character that matters? Oh, come on. I think we all know that my bulging eyes were not focused entirely on her character. So, for those who are interested, the fact file reads as follows. Hair, the colour of a pint of Guinness. Skin, slightly olive-coloured, colour of a fine Irish malt whisky. Height, same height as the barmaid who served me the pint of Guinness with the whisky chaser. Eyes, not the faintest idea, big and dark. Dark brown, after all, I was distracted by her. Bosoms, finest paratiques in captivity. Perfume, I don't know, but I keep smelling it everywhere. Someone in my local wears it and it always reminds me of her. Clothes, entirely unnecessary. Enough? Oh, unless we include the childish observation. Sex, preferably. Imagine what you like, but the real thing would take some beating, particularly when you've got her all to yourself underneath a blanket in the south of France. "Have you ever been here before?" I asked, still working out how to get the information I needed. "Medam, you mean?" She shook her head. I think Giles has, but there are lots of places we've never been together. We've only been married a month." "Oh, really? I had no idea. You should still be on honeymoon." "Not that sort of wedding. Nothing too romantic. Brief and to the point. It's not exactly Giles's first marriage, and I'm not quite the blushing bride. You can't keep taking honeymoons." "Oh, I don't know, honey. Mooning can be quite addictive. Best joke I've ever made." "Naughty." She smacked me on the bottom. "But nice." "Well, honey, mooning's not for us. We're not exactly conventional, you know." There was a clumsy pause. "How did you meet?" I tried again. "Inquisitive little thing, aren't you? Well, it's no secret, I suppose. We met through a dating agency." "Well, now you are winking my whistler," I laughed. "Someone as snuggly as you doesn't join a dating agency to meet people." "I didn't say that I joined an agency." She elbowed me under the blanket. "I saw an interesting advert and answered it." "Well, what did it say?" "I think that's a little personal, don't you?" She raised her eyebrows. "Oh, yes, I'm sorry." Another long silence. Based on this performance, MI5 were hardly going to be queuing up to give me a job. "And what about you, Mr. Handsome?" Now she was asking the questions. "No ring, so you're not married then?" She ran a finger across my hand. "And you're too young to have any punklets suckling away in a cupboard somewhere?" "Well, yes. And no. Or rather, no. And yes. Weddings are strictly for crashing, not I doing, if you know what I mean. But I do have a son. He'd be 10 by now." I'm not sure what made me tell her. It's a secret I usually keep to myself. Oh, now I've gone and put it in this goddamn blog. "You got off to a quick start." She gave me the full-on Colgate ring of confidence smile. "And you didn't marry the mother, more of a," she paused, "a poke and run?" Was I imagining it, or did she just prod me down there, if you know what I mean? Yeah, are girls allowed to use phrases like that? I pretended to slap her wrist. No, I did try to do the proper thing. Actually, it happened in Cannes when I was here on the boats. She'd gone back home to America before she found out. I called her and asked her to marry me, but I had my fingers crossed praying that she'd turn me down. I didn't even pay for the phone call. There was this way of using a piece of wire to short out the coin box. My interrogation had gone way off course. I was suffering from a surfeit of testosterone or whatever it is that flies around your body at such moments. And I seemed to be doing all the talking myself. I tried to change tack. So, what brings you to me then? I asked as casually as I could. You'd have to ask Giles. It's his business, not mine. Yes, of course. I stayed on my knees to avoid her big, wide eyes. I was getting blurred breath and short vision, or is it the other way around? I've been meaning to ask you, I finally blurted out. There's a sticker on the back of my Medan pass. It wasn't a message from you, was it? Subtlety personified. That's me, and completely incompetent. Is this a romantic tete-a-tete or an investigation by Scotland Yard? You seem to be asking some funny questions. No, you strange little thing. I don't know anything about your message. Come on, it must be bedtime now. I think we'd better go up before you start asking me what sort of underwear I'm wearing. If I'm wearing any at all, of course. Not that you'll ever find out. She got up and folded up the blanket. Shit! Shitty shit! So much my future as a detective. I followed Venus into the villa, and as I shut the kitchen door, I could swear that I heard the vicar laughing on the balcony upstairs. Are you still here? No, that's it. Oh, I'm sorry if it was too quick, but that's all there is. Better luck next time. That boy's not good. He's got ears the size of diamonds, vocals on a twisted face, with a voice Yes, Lord Trapani ran his hands over his eyes.
My droll offerings that perhaps I have over-opined. I had an odd complaint or three to nudge forward. I just bounced ideas over the net.
Did you see which way he went? Yes, she said, pointing down the escalator. Down I went. At the bottom were the half-naked girls on rollerblades handing out flyers. I bowled them over like ninepins as I jumped off and tore around the back to get to the next flight downwards.